Hi, folks. Nick Tockert here with the Historical Fencing Guild. Before we get into the actual meat and potatoes, I need to thank some folks. Want to put a big shout out to our good friends over at the Independent Creator Directory, indiecd.org, your one-stop shop for the best and the brightest authors, artists, and musicians. We also want to put out a bit of notice to the Simple Sword, the Fighting Axe, and the Simple Spear, all part of my ongoing series of Western martial arts step manuals designed to help you go from having never handled the sword to teaching the art to others, as well as basically the most important people I can list right now being my amazing Patreon folks, without whom I could not do what it is I do. So guys, their names are going to scroll, and I want to make sure I read them all off before we get into this next segment so that we can cover all the bases for tonight's episode. And I forgot how far it is on the scroll because I have to have my waivers and stuff. But tonight we're going to be talking about some health updates from me. We may get into some advice and what I've been seeing in the sales of things. But first, I want to thank Off in the Woods, Frog G, Ronald Rain, Bladed Thesis, Brian K. Morris, Cindy Koepp, Steve Augusto, Don Dulas, Angelina Vaquera Link, I do my best to pronounce her name, Joe and Trelena Bachman, all love in the world to you guys, Rich Asplin Jr., and the incomparable Kat Rothermill. Hi, Houston Dave. Hi, Joe. But I could not do what I do and what I've been able to do. So, I like to stop at near the end of the year and do a kind of precursor wrap up. Now, this year, with all the excitement that the holidays are doing, and a whole lot of other insanity, I wanted to get it out of the way just a bit early. So please forgive me for doing that. The first part I have to address is people ask me why I haven't done a lot of, if any, live footage and why there haven't been a lot of practices. Basically, I was attempting to set up actually a large tent with my son Alexander at the mid to end of June, where I think that's when it was. It may have been end of May, and we had a fall. Some poles had a fall, and I had a rather heavy weight, being poles and him, come down between my legs and feet and dislocate both my ankles in the process of us rolling around. I have not really talked a lot about the recovery I had to go through for that, or the extent, because I am not always comfortable talking about my own physical limitations. And that was quite problematic. There were reasons about getting it treated and some stuff that made it difficult. So I was doing much better. We're going through the health thing, and then a little bit before, a few days actually before LodgeCon, ironically, as if to wrap things up, just as I was, basically off what I had to do to get my ankles mostly working again, had another roll with Xander in the house this time, and we thought he had broken my wrists. It turned out he just severely sprained one of them and mildly sprained the other. Uh, but I knew the treatment for either of them would have been, staying off and putting braces on, whatever. So I elected to put the braces on, and as nothing was compound or excessive, go and do the convention because it's one big financial outlays of the year. So we took care of that. I came back and it was revealed that the left wrist was severely sprained, and there was probably some clouding on the X-ray. So it could have been some light break that actually mostly healed up by the time I got back around, because it wasn't a very severe one. And I take a lot of supplements to try to offset some issues I have. So there's that. I feel on a level, because I've been able to do a lot of either demo fights or direct, live stream bouts. Honestly, I'm coming as a mea culpa here. I'm feeling very guilty that I wasn't able to provide more direct for both the local folks and for the channel. Simple necessity has made it where I had no choice in doing that. So I wanted to formally apologize to all the active guild members, as well as the aspiring guild members, because we have a few teens who are crossing over the age gap. My chair, basically the thing kind of phased. So I have been forced to delay getting them started, and I wanted to wrap all that up, let you guys know. I will actually be doing some test bouts to see where I am recovery wise. And I've been very careful, hence the reason you guys have seen me wear my braces so much. In fact, the only time I basically take them off is to do something like stream, where I'm sitting and I'm not carrying anything. So, and when I am doing very careful physical therapy exercises, because shockingly, I've damaged my wrists enough now that I've got more experience than most medical professionals. So that is where we are. Again, I wanted to formally apologize to all of you guys, in a recorded and public sense, because you guys deserved a lot more interactivity out of me and mine than I could provide this year. There was also the matter of adapting to a bunch of new meds that were on what they call the heat death list. I'm going to be spending this fall and winter working on trying to come up with new and better alternatives to navigate that, to make sure things are valid for everyone to have the chance to have the kind of education and the kind of training access they deserve. We are going through a lot of the put off sorting and repairs, because basically for the large part of the late spring, almost the entire summer, and until very recently, I could barely go downstairs, like at all, which made several things quite colorful. But I am on the mend. I don't know what the weather's doing, to be honest. We should be having, a cooler time. So I'm hoping to actually light spar with, guild member, and not usually in the chat, James Robertson, actually tomorrow. So we will see how that goes. We may even get footage. I am hoping. Um, to the folks who are worried about Amanda's illness and resulting issues, she is holding up just fine now. She's bounding back, and I'm hoping to get her slowly doing more over the kind of colder times to get in shape for next year's big season. Um, it's very important to me. Now, unfortunately, and I haven't looked at the chat yet, so I may be missing things, but our own Trelena Bachman is quite ill right now. So I hope you guys all, think high, say your prayers, light a candle, whatever you do, please do so, because the combo of strep throat, well, strep, I assume throat, and let's say strep, sinus infection, and pneumonia is dicey. I mean, that's a lot for somebody to go through. So, we're going to be looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. God, my brain is fried. I'm sorry. Looking forward to the her recovery, which means I am not going to be bugging her at all about trying to meet up to do the to help me with the videos until such time as she is fully free and cleared and the bizarre construction-y schedules that she and Joe have to work are viable. I'm trying to find a place that we can film for the video version of the Simple Sword. I want to try to get that done this winter, and I would prefer at least to have her available for highlights. To make it easier for representing women, and so that if I'm doing something, she can be doing something 90 degrees. Because despite me having, the grandest of dad bods, we're of similar heights and all, so it should be easier for a viewer to see it from multiple angles. I'm taking into account what has been requested. People, they want slightly better video quality indoor. They want better sound. So I'm trying to deal with that. So I hope that works out. We will be discussing that as goes. I would not normally do a program like that inside. However, since we're not actively sparring and we have so much experience with each other, it should, knock on plastic, be okay. But I have to talk to her and see if that's still viable. If it is not due to scheduling or whatever, I will either find a way to come closer to her or, not the green room, y'all, be up, reschedule, or if need be, find alternative assistance. So we're going to be dealing with that. Now, I know I need to go through the comments, but if I let myself get caught in comments, I will lose the track of what I'm trying to do. My plans for the upcoming year after the holidays have been are I want to start practices up. I'm trying to find a way to do it for the grown teens, basically, uh, and have it where the teens can meet with the older guildies, and we can get back rolling how we should. Uh, I know some of them will want one-on-one, but for example, our own Alec is well old enough to participate if they can for health reasons. Um, we got a couple others who are very close, and I will probably be doing some type of introductory drilling programs over at the Benton County Public Library because um, it would be beneficial both for the guild at large, for my viewers, and for my students to have me able to do more than I have recently. So we're dealing with that. Please forgive if I'm a little staticky. I wasn't able to take my, I have some anti-pain meds that came late. I got them. It was just one of those, the pharmacy burped, nerve pain med things. So I've had to navigate till they kick back in uh, a lot more than usual of the nerve issues. I'm also trying to make sure that I can find the means to ensure that education is available for the younger ones, regardless of my physical capability. I'm always working a couple steps ahead, so that just makes sense. But I'm hoping craft nights can start up. I'm hoping practices can start up again because frankly for a lot of us it's a lot more comfortable to spar when it's colder and you can wear more padding and be more comfortable than it is in the summer. I also am going to be I have to replace my mask. My mask is quite dead now, and my backup mask, well, one of my backup masks got killed because something made a nest in it. And I have a medium to small size mask that is beautiful for the use of one of my students, but it will not, there's no hope for it for fitting my head. So I'm going to have to invest in a new mask, and I am going to have to probably invest in the heavier grade version because as a coach or coach like entity, uh, calibration is something that needs to be taught. I've also been quietly working in the background because if you've been following HEMA in the news at all, um, there has been a problem um, with a lot of injuries and a lot of uh, weapon failures. Now, I hammer into my students calibration because it's something that's incredibly necessary. But I've been seeing masks fail left and right, and I've been seeing people's ideas of how to test a mask, and it's frankly horrific. It makes me very glad I am switching more towards the polypropylene, and we have basically, say for very rare occasions, switched over. I'm still looking for better flexibility and shorter weapons, but I'm keeping track. Now, I do want the folks who are looking, either they're outfitting each other, they're outfitting other people, or they are looking for new gear for themselves. Uh, Amazon, I talked about it last week, and a lot of people were here for it. Uh, Amazon has some really amazing new trainers out, and more importantly, a whole line that are coming with sheaths, much like, well, it's back there somewhere, my katana, that look to be of quality enough to use. Um, I will be putting in an order for a couple items along that line after the holidays are over. Because frankly, I'm waiting to see if there are any better sales on a couple of these items. So I just want to let you guys know that those deals are floating. I've been scouring looking for really good dedicated armor sales. And I don't know if everybody's kind of holding their breath with this rash of armor failings uh, throughout the main makers, or it's just been considered too much of a luxury item. But I'm not seeing them, guys. If you find good sales to help offset, upcoming students, etc., I'm just I'm not seeing it. So we may have to go back much more old school and talk about sewing and patterns and making armor that will do what we want, instead of thinking that it can be bought, because the original thing was, if you're buying armor, and obviously the caveat that you have to work within your group's conventions. Um, if you are a small group like us, or a varied group again like us, we have more mutability, and I'm not sure how everybody's gear is fitting. I get to try my old jacket on, and we're just going to see how things are working come uh, proper winter. And right now, I'm sitting at 44 degrees and light rain, so that's not bad at all. I should be able to function in a in a uh, in a padded gambeson. But I do need to start really looking at what my priorities of training are, because realistically, for somebody with normal health, I am 44 years old. Um, this is a uh, this can be a physically trying sport, and I have had a physically challenging life. Anyone who's been around here, the great hoary stories, know that I'm internally held together by duct tape and baling wire, basically. So I need to start laying the groundwork for potentially stepping back in some of the physicality, especially during the heat. Uh, this year shook me far more than I wanted to discuss, because I knew I have certain sensitivities, but some very, very necessary medications, the side effects have dramatically worsened both my heat intolerance and my light sensitivity. So it's going to take potentially some real adjustment to be what I would be functional, what I would deem functional for as early as next year. I don't know. I have been fighting certain losses in mobility for 20 years now. And the reality is, if I can't pull off some very different lifestyle changes and very different issues over here, I may be, it might be catching up with me. So I have to shift around a lot, and I'm going to do what I can to do that. And that's not unexpected. But I have long since had a primary exit strategy and then secondaries. And I am going to be working in the background to reevaluate any changes I have to make. Now, there's also the chance that over the course of this winter, as I get some things changed, I'll be able to address some of the issues. But it's one of those just a set of medical things that are compounding against me right now. And finding the balance in those while keeping the tightening parameters is proving difficult. You know, another natural part of being unnatural. And certain exacerbating factors that I am not comfortable speaking about in a public forum are also having to be dealt with at the same time. So I have to do some things to mitigate my chances of injury during this period. Not sure where it is, not sure how long it's going to take, not sure how successful any of this is going to be. But I don't make moves or take actions without laying a lot of groundwork, always well ahead, always upfront. I believe in, excessive amounts of transparency in all of this. So that is where we're going to be on those fronts. I have some challenges that I am not always able to talk about. And in part of it is, though I am someone who is broadcasting out, and I do try to be as transparent as possible, I should be allowed to have a couple things that just aren't public domain information. And part of it is there's a lot going on. So we are dealing with that best we can. That being said, between now and like Christmas, if all can go well, I'm going to be doing some crafting videos going over things people have missed from the past, different trainers you can make when you're on an extreme budget, pros and cons, things like that. This is all old news, but it's news that is becoming relevant because if there is, I don't know how to phrase this, economic trouble, I want to make sure that you guys have the option to do what you need to do, regardless of outside interference or situation. So I want you guys to always have the ability, if you can't buy it, you can make it. You know, um, I have been training people on, you know, I don't even get a shoestring budget for a lot of it, and for a long time. And the Patreon let me buy gear and things and make sure that it's stocked so that I have the gear. I've tested the gear. Um, fairly certain, fairly soon, I will be considering distributing more of the gear as it's needed. So, especially local folks, if there's something you need, let me know before you buy. I might have something getting dusty in my garage. I will, again, I have a couple new students who are kind of on the cusp. Should they uh, work out, I will be, naturally be probably doing a bit of arming for them. And fortunately, the trainers are much less expensive, but between then and now, I have to make sure that I have size size fluctuating, uh, slightly over armored gear for me if I'm going to be going back into training the training folks, 20 years my junior. So that is indeed coming up. Uh, to the people who asked, right now, formal training for Alexander is not on the docket for the foreseeable future. Uh, that may change. We're working on things, but I can't do something that irresponsible right now. Uh, Beyond all of that, I want to thank the folks who skipped out the fun of the green room to come and watch this broadcast. If you guys have any questions, any comments, please reach out to me. I don't want to keep them or anyone else from having a lot of the fun that they normally have. So I'm going to get into the comments to see who's actually here. And then I will go through the comments, and then I'll probably adjourn a little early tonight. I have a lot of work ahead of me tonight before I can go to sleep, and I want to let them get back to having fun. So thank you for your tolerance and patience. Let's go through the comments first through the door. Okay. Hi, Joe, and hi, Dave, and hello, Dawn. Hey, Churro. How you doing, hon? And had to close the app a few times, but I made it. I'm glad you made it, and I will try to go as quickly as possible through the rest of this to let you guys all out the door. I don't think anybody needs a lengthy lecture from me today. It's Joey J. It really is. It's a beautiful night, and I'm very glad so many of you could make it. Happy to. I hope that all of you are having an enjoyable. And apparently, I'm glad you made it. Strep is not something to fool with. I have stupid scarring on my vocal cords because hard vocal cords are something I'm unfortunately intimately acquainted with. So yes, we want Trey to take it as easy as possible, getting all the rest she can. She's mental health, finger guns of total. Yeah, it is. I will be pulling out to drop. the uh, out of that link. I'm going to cutting and I have no idea what's hugs Trey. Few good moments have jumped in there too. Makes we're actually lost and just found some of my uh bifocals because I bought these incredibly in to read while are the bordering on the expired. Uh, I found them. If I yeah, my comments are. Let's see, of fairly soon I placed and times have been amused to try to. I'm not gonna try to bring up the comments. So guys, just be just keep writing, keep creating. Uh, keep your sword up, do your drills, keep your eyes open, be kind to yourself and each other. For supporting your local sword master. Soon, we'll, we'll toodles.